And because we are in Washington, it's time to talk politics. Progressive firebrand David Hogg bowing out as DNC vice chair after members voted for new elections because they didn't like the outcome of the first ones. This all comes as divisions among Democrats are airing in public as the party scrambles to mount an effective opposition to President Trump. Matt Gorman, executive vice president of Targeted Victory and former NRCC communications director, is here, along with Yemisi Egbewole, former chief of staff to the White House press office under Joe Biden, now principal at Podium Strategies. And after that introduction, unfortunately, we have no time left for the segment. So David Hogg has got what I think are some pretty legitimate concerns about the Democratic Party. He said this: "We've got a real challenge ahead of us. We lost voting share with almost every demographic across the board. Despite all that Trump has done, our approvals remain at 27%. If we don't show our country how we are dramatically changing and provide an alternative vision for the future as a party, we will continue to lose." Everything he says is true. He was just not in the right position to say it.
Well, and he wasn't operating the right way, too. Look, David Hogg is such a go-getter, and he's so young. He's got a long political career ahead of him. If he learns one thing, bureaucracy is hard, and he was trying to work within a system while running a PAC that was raising millions of dollars to undercut that system. You can't have things both ways. If you would like to work at the DNC, you have to work from a neutral position. If you would like to run a PAC that runs primary challengers against incumbents that the DNC is supporting, you have to work from the outside. And change can still be made no matter where you're positioned. So
let's say that he was working, the card was flipped, and he was working for the RNC in doing this. Would he have been booted out?
But that's not the reason he was booted out, though. He was booted out because Democrats are captive to arbitrary identity quotas that say who the vice chair must be when it terms of race and gender.
No. That's just a mechanism they used to get rid of.
Exactly. But like that is a factual basis.
They just wanted him out.
They wanted him out.
Yeah. But if he was working for the RNC, would they have booted him?
You can't do it.
Okay.
You know, and look, also one thing that Hogg is semi-rational about is that they need to appeal to men, right? Democrats treat men, especially straight men, like they're zoo animals. Like it's Jane Goodall with the gorillas. They should be observed and studied from afar instead of actually relating to them. And that's a huge reason why, as he points out, they're in the predicament they're in. If they want to relate to men again and start winning elections, Hogg has a decent point on that.
Okay. I think the reality is, from the outside, right? Process and procedure aside, this is somebody, David Hogg, who, the Democratic Party had celebrated not that long ago. They brought him into the fold. He has a unique perspective, being young, male, also being the survivor of, a mass shooting. It's a big loss, I think, for the party, at least publicly, in terms of optics, that he is now being pushed out. Kudos to Hogg, but I don't really see him as somebody who was leading messaging when it came to young white men anyways. I think that David Hogg came into the DNC under a set of conditions, and he said that he would work with the DNC chair, Martin. He said he would work with his vice chair, Malcolm Kenyatta. What he has done is he has undercut the leadership of Ken Martin. We heard on the audio Ken Martin expressing frustrations about that on the leaked Zoom call. And he's also overshadowed Malcolm Kenyatta as well, a young, black, gay man who's working in Pennsylvania, a hard Commonwealth to operate out of, and who's done really good ground game. And all we have focused on is one person. And when it becomes about one person and not the party, then that person needs to do the right thing and step outside and operate their own operation outside.
So you mentioned the leaked audio from this Zoom call that Ken Martin had. Listen to him here criticizing David Hogg.
I am, right? I'm trying to get my sea legs underneath of me and actually develop any amount of credibility so I can go out there and raise the money and do the job I need to put ourselves in a position to win. And again, I don't think you intended this, but you essentially destroyed any chance I have to show the leadership that I need to. So it's really frustrating.
You destroyed any chance I have to show the leadership I need to. Some people might say a weak leader is a weak leader.
Very weak leader. And certainly that audio didn't help when he talked about how frustrated he is every day to go and start and run the DNC. Not a very great vote of confidence if you want to give money to the DNC or want to recruit and win a race, say, for Congress to go under his leadership. Ken Martin is not the strongest leader right now, and I couldn't be happier.
Ken Martin had a bad day.
Let's just leave it
well,
there.
He thinks he had a lot longer than just a day.
Yeah, well, I think now, new chapter. And if David Hogg wanted to stay and for the vote to happen. He could have stayed. Look, when somebody challenges me, if I was in that position, I'd say, all right, then let's do it. Let's do the vote. He didn't. He walked away.
Thanks, folks, for joining us. Appreciate it. Good to see you.
Thank you very much.
All right, now this.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.